Interpreter configuration in PHP Storm. I'm going to tie up some loose ends from the previous videos because I didn't talk about the dialog box or dialog window for specifying the location of the interpreter on the virtual machine. This is how you get to that dialog box. On my computer, I press Command, comma, and then under Languages and Frameworks, there's PHP, and right there it specifies the interpreter. And then I would click on this square. So here it is. Right down here, we are specifying the location of the PHP interpreter on the virtual machine on my iMac. The virtual machine is VirtualBox, and there's an instance of Ubuntu that I run on it. You will note that in addition to being able to configure this interpreter, you can also add or remove interpreters. Now, with regard to configuring the interpreter, you are able to configure how the interpreter is accessed. In my case, I chose to have it accessed using SSH credentials. And here I specified the SSH key that is to be used. I also specified the host machine. It is Sandbox. I specified the user, which is Sam. That's the user that I use on Sandbox. These are the settings which directly affect running PHP code line by line. Although I had to also set up corresponding SFTP in deploy. I get to deploy by, on my machine, Shift Control A. And then I click configuration. Okay, so I had to also configure SFTP. I had to configure this particular server connection. So Sandbox is an SFTP host. I had to do that in order to be able to do what I just showed you. And let me show it to you again. Command, comma, and PHP, and click here. Here it is. By the way, while I'm in PHP Storm, I want to point out a few tweaks which I made to the material in the previous videos. Shift Control A and configuration. All right, for Sandbox, not Sandbox interpreter, for Sandbox, I removed the path which followed right here, and I put it over here instead. It still gives the same URL. The main thing to remember to do is here for the local path, specify the complete path all the way to the web folder, the folder called web in my project. Now let's see what I did here. Here I did something similar, except the paths that are used in this interface here, these are on the virtual machine relative to the root on the operating system of the virtual machine. Okay, so the connection, I kept the web URL the same, and under mapping, this area here is something that wasn't up here. Let me show you. See here there's, okay, what's it called? It's called deployment path on server Sandbox interpreter. Here there is no deployment path. Okay. However, I specified no framework web, just as I did here. And for the local path, I have the same thing, which I have over here. Right there. That's it for this video.